Claude Code has a real open source rival in the terminal, but the useful question is not, is DeepSeek TUI cheaper? The useful question is, should you actually switch? In this guide, I will cover what DeepSeek TUI is, what changed in the latest release, whether it can use other models, how much it may cost, how fast it feels, whether it is effective for coding, and where Claude Code still wins. I checked the GitHub repo, release notes, official pricing, Claude Code docs, and recent Reddit discussion. If practical AI coding breakdowns help you, subscribe to Tech Talk. Let's make the decision clear. First, what is DeepSeek TUI? It is not the official DeepSeek app. It is an open source Rust terminal coding agent built around DeepSeek v4. The repository says it can read and edit files, run shell commands, use Git, search and browse the web, apply patches, use MCP servers, and coordinate subagents. That puts it in the same category as Claude Code, not just chat, but an agent that can inspect a real project, plan, edit, run checks, and keep context. The real screenshot shows the product clearly: transcript, plan, todos, tasks, agents, and a bottom composer. It is a terminal cockpit for code. The latest release I checked is the v.8.39, published on May 17th, 2026. This release is mostly reliability polish, which matters for agents. The model picker opens instantly again. Session approvals group command families again. Docker first, run state directories are writable. Runtime system prompt overrides survive the first turn. Compaction keeps the latest user text query in tool, heavy histories. The pager resize behavior, mouse wheel, and multi-line composer were tightened. Those are not flashy features, but they remove friction from daily use. A coding agent fails when tiny workflow bugs interrupt every few minutes. 3.839 looks like a maturity release. The feature list is already broad. DeepSeek TUI includes plan, agent, and YOLO modes, thinking mode, streaming, manual or configured compaction, session set and resume, rollback snapshots, sandboxing, HTTP runtime API, LSP diagnostics, memory, skills, themes, notifications, and live cost telemetry. It also advertises 1 million token context with DeepSeek VD4 and prefix cache visibility, which is important for large repositories. That does not mean it is as polished as Claude Code. Claude Code is mature across terminal, IDE, desktop, browser, mobile Slack CI, and scheduled tasks. DeepSeek TUI is narrower, but more open and hackable. Can you use DeepSeek TUI with another model? Yes, but understand the layers. The default identity is DeepSeek v4, especially DeepSeek v4 Flash, v4 Pro, and Auto Mode. The tool is designed around DeepSeek, but the RADME also documents provider paths like DeepSeek OpenRouter, Aloma VLM SGLine, NVDA-NEM, and custom endpoints. In practice, that means you can point the harness at other compatible backends if you know how to configure them. This is one place DeepSeek TUI feels more open than Claude Code. The catch is simple access does not equal quality. Every model still needs testing on real coding tasks. Is it effective for coding? It can be, especially for technical users. The tool can inspect files, patch code, run commands, use Git, call MCP tools, and launch subagents. Plan mode helps because you can force reading and reasoning before edits. But coding quality comes from three things: the model, the harness, and your workflow. Claude Code's advantage is the tuned whole product: model behavior, diff review, memory, permissions, integrations, and recovery. DeepSeek TUI gives more control and potentially lower API costs, but you may need tighter prompts, more manual review, and stronger tests. My rule: do not ask whether it feels smart. Give both tools the same repo, bug, tests, and finish line. No cost, because this is why many people are paying attention. Official DeepSeek pricing is per 1 million tokens. At the time I checked, DeepSeek v4 Flash input is 14 cents per million cache, missed tokens $0.0028 per million cache, hit tokens and 28 cents per million output tokens. DeepSeek V4 Pro is discounted until May 31st, 2026. During the promo, Pro is $0.435 per million cash miss input tokens, $0.003625 per million cash hit input tokens, and 87 cents per million output tokens. Example, 10 million flash input tokens plus 2 million output tokens with no cash benefit is about $1.96. But agent costs can still surprise you. Agents spend tokens in loops. They read files, receive tool output, summarize, plan, edit, run tests, read errors, and try again. A coding session can use far more context than a normal chat. Claude's own docs say usage varies by model, code base size, automation, and multiple instances. Research on agentic coding also shows token consumption varies heavily, and more tokens do not automatically mean better accuracy. DeepSeek TUI helps by exposing live cost tracking and cache hit or miss breakdowns. That is genuinely useful. Still, cheap token prices do not protect you from sloppy autonomous loops. Use limits, review often, and keep tasks scoped. What about speed? There are two speeds. Model speed is about how quickly DeepSeek V4 Flash or Purple answers. Flash should be the fast option. Pro should be the deeper option. Real speed depends on the API, network, context size, and tool calls. Workflow speed is different. A cheaper model that needs 3 retrays can be slower than Claude Code solving the issue once. But a terminal native agent with long context and cache visibility can be fast for exploration, repetitive edits, refactors, and source-heavy analysis. So I would not claim DeepSeek TUI is always faster. I would say it can be fast when you are terminal first and know how to steer it. What are people asking on Reddit? The signal is mixed, and that is useful. Some users say it is solid and worth testing with $5 to $10 of API credit. Others say Claude Code compresses context better, handles complex debugging more reliably, or ends up cheaper when retries are counted. The most important lesson is that the harness matters. The same model can feel different in DeepSeek TUI, OpenCode, a Claude Bridge, or another shell because prompts, tools, permissions, compaction, and retries are different. Where Reddit does not prove DeepSeek TUI is better. It proves people want a cheaper, more open Claude Code alternative and are testing it seriously. So when does it make sense to switch from Claude Code? Switch, or at least test it, if you live in the terminal, want open source control, want to bring your own provider, care about DeepSeek pricing, need long context, and are comfortable validating agent output yourself. Stay with Claude Code if you want the more integrated product, stronger default polish, smoother multi-surface workflow, and less configuration. Also stay if your work is high stakes and Claude Code already passes your reliability bar. The practical answer is not one tool forever. Use DeepSeek TUI where cost and openness matter. Use code where polish, reliability, and ecosystem matter. Here is the test I would run before switching. Pick one real bug, one small feature, and one messy refactor from your own repo. Give DeepSeek TUI and Claude Code the same instructions. Require both to run the same tests. Track total time, total cost, number of corrections, quality of the final diff, and whether you trusted the explanation. Then repeat the test on a fresh day. Agent performance can vary. One lucky run is not a benchmark. If DeepSeek TUI wins on 2 out of 3 tasks with lower cost, it deserves a place in your workflow. If it needs constant rescue, keep it as a research tool. A quick note from the sponsor slot of this channel, Mnemonic. Mnemonic is the study app I have been building for university exams. It turns PDFs, slides, notes, audio, and YouTube lectures into summaries, flashcards, quizzes, mind maps, podcasts, and oral exam practice. The useful idea is the same as this video. Do not just collect information. Turn it into actions, recall, and feedback. If you are studying technical topics, law, medicine, or anything exam heavy, Mnemonic helps you convert messy sources into a repeatable study system. I will leave the link in the description. Now back to the verdict. Common questions. Can DeepSeek TUI replace Claude Code today? For some terminal first users, yes. For everyone, no. Is it only for DeepSeek? It is DeepSeek first, but provider paths make it more flexible. Is it cheaper? Often, maybe dramatically, but only if your prompts, context, and retries are controlled. Is it safe to let it edit code? Treat it like any coding agent. Use Git, review diffs, run tests, and avoid YOLO mode on important repos until you trust the workflow. Is it beginner friendly? Less than Claude Code? Powerful, but more technical. Final verdict. DeepSeek TUI is interesting because it is not just a cheap model wrapper, it is becoming a serious open terminal agent with long context, provider flexibility, cost telemetry, subagents, MCP, rollback, and a fast-moving release cycle. I would not uninstall Claude Code because of it. I would install DeepSeek TUI beside it, test it on real tasks, and let the results decide. If you want the most polished agent workflow, Claude Code still makes sense. If you want lower cost openness, terminal control, and DeepSeek V4 experimentation, DeepSeek TUI is worth your attention. Subscribe to Techie Talk Eye for more practical AI coding guides and tell me which tool I should compare next.